Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled amidst rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a gentle and kind-hearted girl named Cinderella. Despite the hardships she faced, she maintained a softness of heart that endeared her to all who knew her. However, her life was far from a fairy tale, for she dwelled in a grand house that echoed with cruelty and unkindness. Cinderella's father had remarried after the passing of her mother, bringing into their home a new wife and her 2 daughters, Anastasia and Drizella. From the moment they entered her life, Cinderella's stepsisters and stepmother treated her with disdain and scorn. They made her toil in the kitchen from dawn till dusk, clad in rags while they adorned themselves in finery. Despite their cruelty, Cinderella never lost her kindness. She tended to the household chores with grace and humility, finding solace in the simple joys of nature and the companionship of the small creatures that roamed the woods surrounding their home. One day, news spread throughout the kingdom like wildfire. The king was throwing a grand ball to find a suitable bride for his son, the prince. Every eligible maiden in the land was invited to attend, including Cinderella's stepsisters. As excitement filled the air, Cinderella found herself swept up in the whirlwind of preparations, helping her stepsisters choose their gowns and style their hair for the ball. As the sun began to set on the eve of the ball, Cinderella watched wistfully as her stepsisters departed for the palace, leaving her behind in the shadows. Alone in the quiet of the house, she felt a tear escape her eye, wondering if her life would ever change. But then, in a shimmer of light, her fairy godmother appeared before her. With a wave of her wand and a sprinkle of magic dust, she transformed Cinderella's tattered rags into a gown fit for a princess and her worn-out shoes into delicate glass slippers that sparkled in the moonlight. "Go, my dear Cinderella," her fairy godmother said with a smile. "You shall go to the ball and enchant all who lay eyes upon you. But remember, the magic shall last only until the stroke of midnight." With a grateful heart, Cinderella set off for the palace, her steps light and her spirits soaring. As she entered the grand ballroom, she drew gasps of admiration from all who beheld her beauty. The prince himself was captivated by her grace and charm, and he could not resist asking her to dance. For hours they twirled and swayed across the ballroom floor, lost in each other's company as if the world around them ceased to exist. But as the clock struck 12, Cinderella's heart clenched with fear, for she knew that her time was running out. With a hurried apology, she fled from the palace, leaving behind only a single glass slipper in her haste. The next day, the kingdom buzzed with talk of the mysterious maiden who had captured the prince's heart. Determined to find her, the prince set out on a quest, traveling from house to house with the glass slipper in hand, searching for the one whose foot it would perfectly fit. At last, the prince arrived at Cinderella's home, where her stepsisters eagerly tried to squeeze their feet into the delicate slipper. But it was Cinderella, hidden away in the shadows, who stepped forward with trepidation. As she slid her foot into the slipper, it fit perfectly, and with that, her true identity was revealed. Overjoyed at finding his beloved, the prince swept Cinderella into his arms and declared her his bride-to-be. And so, amidst the cheers of the townsfolk and the protests of her jealous step-family, Cinderella embarked on a new chapter of her life, one filled with love, happiness, and the promise of happily ever after.